Okay, hello. We are going to do some review of the website, the Imagine Image website. Some interesting things have been implemented, and I wanted to go and cover them. One of the things is that for the longest time we didn't have an input page for users to put in products that they discovered with the URL to it, the hyperlink to it, and so on and so forth. So we have corrected that, and now all registered subscriber users will be able to put into the database products that they find and that they use. Because the important thing is that you have tested them and you find that they're beneficial before you put them into the products list. That's all that we ask. So here's what it looks like right now. This is basically the calendar, as you know, for the Imagine Image site. When we go to the menu and go to product new entry, there's an error that we don't quite understand. It's probably the way we built the page. I don't know, but it's look at the URL. Well, you can't see it. Anyway, whatever the URL for this page is at the top in the browser, just ignore that name. We're trying to fix that. I don't know why that is. But like I said, it probably has something to do with the way we created the page. Anyway, so in the first text box, you can put the product name, but remember how the products are entered into the product list, the database itself. Before you enter something, make sure you enter the category of it first, and then the product name, whatever you think is helpful after it. You don't need to put a comma, just put the category first, like cards, Ender 3, Avery, Wargaming, whatever. But just look at the existing database to see what the categories are. I guess I could probably make a category drop-down list. That might help, I might do that. I don't know. But anyway, so right now this is how it works. And then over in the next, and by the way, it's red outlined because it's required. You have to put something in there. So then the product URL for wherever it's located on the internet, and then when you hit image or image URL, that'll ask you for an actual image to upload or the URL you can put in there for an image. Most of the time, that has to be a direct reference to a JPEG or a PNG or something. Sometimes it can be a WebP reference, which is a format that we're not entirely sure is going to stick around, but it exists right now on the internet. Whatever the image URL is, you can try and put it in here, and then you're good to go, and you click submit. And then, obviously, this is the product page. This is what it looks like. So these are all the products that we've either tested or we use, and or have ordered, and so on. So, for instance, lately we have entered in some terrain items, and you can see them right here. They're somebody on Amazon is producing something called Ender Toys. So they have some 3D printers that they're printing. Maybe it's a printer farm. But these kinds of things we've tried to print ourselves. They take a long time to print because they're not that small. So whoever this is, they've got probably quite a big farm of printers. And they don't have to be Ender. I mean, Ender is a good starter, 3D printer. But whether or not they're using Ender doesn't matter. The fact is, these are hollow, 3D printed objects, and in this case, it's rocks and so on for your game table. Okay, so that is one thing. And let's go to the Nova category, or the drop-down menu for Nova, and let's go to let's go to MapGrid, because some MapGrid changes were made. Let's go to the index. We'll show you, using this 4x4A, how things have changed. Sorry for the brightness, but it'll go away. Okay. The map grid is helpful because it lets you quickly upload a map scenario. And that's, I should caution that the MapGrid is separate from the scenarios database. So MapGrid is one thing, scenarios database is another. Scenarios database has a whole bunch of other stuff in it other than the map and the hex grid and everything. Okay. But in this case, the MapGrid, remember, if you haven't already seen this, the upper left, upper right, lower left, and lower right quadrants are meant to have cards of terrain that we use through the flashcard machine database, the online service. And we've loaded all the images of cards, actual, poker cards, of terrain. And the reason that we created that was so that you could have a stack of cards in your hand and you could just randomly pick 4 of them, put them together, and because they're graphics of maps, you'll have a map. And they're modular per se. Actually, to be clear, they don't have roads and rivers. These are just hills and forests on these cards. The roads and rivers is a different situation. In order to make the quadrants work, there are graphics that we created that are online only, not in card form, which, by the way, from the flashcard database, you can always use the digital just by copying it to your hard drive. Just right mouse click whatever card you've got and then save it to your hard drive and then upload it to where you need it to be, quadrant, left, right, whatever. But in the other part of this is that we do, and we have created graphics of roads and rivers. Is it both roads and rivers, or is it just rivers? I think it's just rivers for now, and hills, of course. And then the other part of this is that the overlay, first of all, what you're looking at here is not the quadrant with the cards thing. This is a map overlay. And you can see the button right there, map overlay right here. So this is a map overlay. It doesn't matter what the original map was, how big it was or whatever. We just loaded it into the background of this page, this box. And then we uploaded a graphic of numbered hexagons. And in this case, even though this is a 4x4 foot, it's been stretched to fit into the 4x3 foot design of this page. This is actually designed for that kind of a ratio. You're either going to have a 4x3 table, or you're going to have a 6x4 table, or an 8x5 table. It doesn't matter. It all fits into this box. It's relative because of the ratio, the magnification, if you want to call it that. So in loading a 4x4 grid onto this, it looks like it's a 4x3, but it's actually a 4x4. In other words, ignore the stretchingness of it, and when you go to lay it out, you can use the coordinates to put in your terrain, because that's why it's helpful that it's numbered, okay? And the same goes for the 8x5 foot grid and the 4x3 foot and the 6x4 foot. If the grids are numbered, it makes it easy, and it doesn't matter if it's stretched or not. If the grids are not numbered, it doesn't matter. You still get the idea. You can still copy this once it's been done and paste it into a scenario document. All right, so there's where we are. This is a very helpful thing that we've created, and it should help in creating the maps for scenarios. So you can create the map here and then copy paste the image, select it on the browser and then paste it into a scenario document and then upload that, as well as the image. Save the image as a file as well and upload that into the scenarios database. Okay, that gives it some value and heft. And you can see at the below here, let me scroll down. These buttons, now I obviously am not like the programmer I used to be. So because I'm not, I've lost my own knowledge of how to do these things. This is how I had to create this, okay? Now I understand it's clunky, but it works, okay? I just don't remember how, after many years not being in code, how to do something like this. These are all grid references. 1 row across the top, 2 row across, 3 row across, and then coming down 12 columns. Each one of these is an image you can put in, and in our case, it's like a tree. You can put a tree on here, and I guess, you know what, let me see if I can demonstrate now. Hopefully it'll work, because sometimes the browser interferes with. Here's an example. This is a tree icon graphic. We're going to put this in on the map. So we've selected it, and of course these are all online, but this, we've downloaded the whole folder and now we have them on our desktop. So he's loaded into C cell 1. That's what the C stands for. So 1 is going to appear up here, and I think it's about, here's the size. Where'd the size go? The size of each one of those little graphics, I think, may have gotten lost. It's like 45 by 45 pixels. So let's do submit and remain, and hopefully that little guy will show up, and there he is, top left-hand corner. And we can do the same, go to 10 row, 12 column, tree icon, and up here we can go submit and remain so we can watch it. Okay, the 12 by 12 did not show. Let's try it again. That might be a code error. More than likely it is. Yeah, all right. So if you want to see it happen, how we go and fix this, let's go to our Wix, because that's the program HTML5 that we're using. Excuse me. I was not logged in, so I will log in and I'll show you how we fix that. Get a little peek behind the curtain here as to how we do things. And again, remember, it's not like it used to be where I was able to code this stuff without, willy-nilly, and I knew exactly what I was doing, because I've forgotten all that. I've been in graphics production and technical writing for so long, I've forgotten all those codes. I still know HTML, but this is a little different for when it wants to come to code. This could actually be a JavaScript thing. All right, so let's go to the MapGrid. Specific title. I think it was like 44. It doesn't matter. All right. So here we have our 1212. I should say 812. Ooh, aha. Ah. All right, we found the reason. Okay, Terry did some fixing and got rid of the last 2 rows. So there's only 812. There's no 9 through 10. I don't remember why that is. Is that correct? Or is this an error? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess we'll have to test it. Let's go back. All right, so let's do 8 to 12, and we'll load our graphic, and we'll see it pop in to the correct location. Oh, and by the way, there's a field down here for putting in notes about this map. Okay, so let's do submit and remain, and hopefully our little tree, there he goes right there. All right, so we got rid of 9, 10 row. I don't know why. That's fine. And let's actually, you know what? Let's make sure. Let's go 112. And let's go to 212. Let's do all the 12s and make sure that we've got the right. Let's make a huge row or column of trees. All right, ready. We should see them pop in. There we go. Yeah, confirmed. It's just 8 rows. Anyway, pretty cool, right? You get the idea. All right, so let's stop right there and we'll come back. We'll do some more updates to the website.